Hello, music collectors and everybody else watching this video on YouTube. I'm Tim here with another episode of Faves from Five. For those of you who haven't viewed the first video in this series, I have my computer randomly select 5 albums from my collection using a program I wrote. I listen to each album, the entire album, and select my favorite songs from each album. I am presenting this video in slideshow format again because of ongoing health issues. I have had positive feedback on this format in the comments of the other 2 videos I made in this format. I really like the albums that the computer has selected this time around, and it was tough picking my favorite songs on each. With that said, let me start showing the music. The first album selected is one that is hard to classify under any particular genre or subgenre. It is a 1972 release of the self-titled debut solo album by Maria Muldaur. The songs in this genre or sub-genre from each, the songs vary in genre and subgenre from each other. You hear folk, country, jazz, blues, lounge, and even a little gospel on this album. She had a hit with the song Midnight at the Oasis from this album, but that's not my favorite song on the album. There are a few that I like better, but after debating between them, I decided on her cover of the Dolly Parton song, My Tennessee Country Home, as my favorite. If you've viewed many of my videos, you'll see that I have collect music from the 70s from many genres. This next one is from my 70s pop collection, who were they were very popular from the mid to late 70s. It is the debut album by the Scottish group Bay City Rollers from 1974, titled Rollin' on the Arista label. This is a German pressing. It has many songs on it that they redid for their self-titled album that was released in 1975, with the big hit Saturday Night being one of them. Again, I did not pick the big hit from the album as my favorite. I debated on which I liked better between 2 songs. One that Robert Z would like, titled Jenny Gotta Dance, and Ain't It Strange, which is the song I selected as my favorite from this album. This album is the only one in the video that's not from the 70s. It's by one of the early British invasion groups from the 60s. That album is a mono copy of Glad All Over by the Dave Clark 5 on Epic Records from 1964. The hits Glad All Over, Bits and Pieces, and Do You Love Me are on this album, but none of them are my favorite song on this album. The song I picked is the song after the title track and is titled All of the Time. It seems that the energy from Glad All Over flows into this song as a good song for the group given when the album was released. Jon Stewart's background is with folk music. He was a member of the Kingston Trio from 1961 through 1967. After leaving them, he recorded many albums, mostly folk, until his death in 2008. There was another album released the following year. This album rocks more than most of his other albums, and had 3 songs that make it onto the top 40 charts. The hits from this album are Gold, Midnight Wind, and Lost Her in the Sun. The album is Bombs Away Dream Babies by Jon Stewart from 1979 on RSO Records. My copy is a white label promo. You can hear Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham from Fleetwood Mac quite a bit on this album. Lindsey produced the album and played guitar and/or sang on all but 3 songs on the album. Stevie sang backing vocals on a couple songs that were hits. It was a tough decision for my favorite song on the album. I've always liked Midnight Wind, and it has always been one of my favorite songs by him. But in the end, it was beat out by the song The Spinning of the World. The last album is my favorite album by an artist that was my favorite artist for a while in the 70s when I was a teenager. The album is Rocky Mountain High by John Denver on RCA Records from 1972. This album has two songs on it that made it into the top 40, which are the title track and Goodbye Again, along with great covers of the Beatles song Mother Nature's Son and John Prine's Paradise. The rest of the songs are very good as well. I finally chose a song that was sung at many weddings in the 70s and 80s, but not mine. I had a different song of his sung at my wedding, which my wife agreed with, that reflected the situation at the time since it was in the Air Force. The song that I chose as my favorite from this album is For Baby, for Bobby. It's not the song that was sung at my wedding, but it always makes me think of my wife of over 29 years. I paid $1 or less for each of these albums. I go to garage sales, flea markets, and dig in the dollar bins and bargain or discount bins in stores. I started a Facebook group 3 years ago for people that do the same thing. The name of the group is Thrifty Music Collectors. I'll leave a link to the group below if you're interested in checking it out. Just click on the join button at the site and I'll approve you as soon as I see the request. How about one of the albums that I show today are from the 70s. If you also like a lot of music from that decade, no matter what genre or subgenre, I started a Facebook group called 70s Music Gigs earlier this year, where you can show the 70s music you have, no matter what media it's on. I'll also leave a link to that site below. I'd like to see more people do random polls similar to what I did in this video. It's easy to do, and that way you're showing music that's been in your collection for a while. Leave any thoughts or feedback about this video in the comments below. That's all I have for today. Until next time, take it easy and keep on rocking.